Hey folks, this is Kalani. Another alpha build means more updates to dig through, and this video is all about customization, new transmog options, new character options, and another step forward with the whole character creation screen. We may not have sliders anymore, but the more options we get, the better this expansion is going to be. For character creators anyway. Who doesn't love spending an hour picking out the perfect hairstyle? We have something very interesting that could change up transmog significantly. The Undead will get to choose more than just no bones showing with a new option, and the Blood Elves are finally getting some work done too. Before we jump in, be sure to pop by our live stream sometime over at twitch.tv/KalaniTV. We go live every Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday and Saturday at 12 PM PST, and swinging by and saying hi is one of the best ways you can support the channel and everything we do right now. By the way, a subscription on Twitch, which you can get for free if you have an Amazon Prime, will also get your name at the end of every YouTube video as a special thank you. So if you've always wanted to join the wonderful folks in the outro, now you know how. Hope to see you soon. Perhaps the most exciting little tidbit in this latest alpha is the new transmog option for shoulders. Wowhead stumbled upon a very interesting line in the global strings: transmogrify right shoulder. Usually these strings refer to new options or features, so seeing a string which refers specifically to one shoulder suggests we may see a change to how transmogging your shoulders could work in the Shadowlands expansion. If you can transmog the right shoulder by itself, does that mean we could transmog the left shoulder by itself? This could lead to the ability of having mismatched shoulder pads, if that's ever something you were interested in. I think this could actually work really well with certain types of shoulders, and especially models which are the same or similar but have different colour schemes or are just slightly different. Some old raid sets come to mind where one tier is, more or less the same model, but the one above it is either a different colour or just that little bit shinier. Putting those together could be really cool. This could also be a new option to just hide one side or shoulder pad instead of both, potentially turning any set of shoulder pads into just a single shoulder, which has been seen quite a few times throughout World of Warcraft's history. Perhaps the most famous single shoulder pad would be Herod's shoulder, the model that became one of the male heirloom options. That set still looks pretty cool on a hunter to this day, and I know plenty of players who are excited to see that shoulder once again in Classic WoW. If you had the option to turn any shoulder set into just a single shoulder piece, does any model stick out in your mind? Is there any shoulder transmog you've always wished could be worn as just a single pad? Let me know in the comments below. As interesting as this global string is, we aren't able to get any solid testing for it on the alpha just yet, so this will be a big old case of wait and see. It could be individual shoulder pads, it could be the option to wear any shoulder by itself, or it could end up getting scrapped before it actually makes it into the alpha for testing. So keep your fingers crossed and I'll get back to you when we have more info. There's also a bunch of new customization options in this latest build. We have some Blood Elf goodies to look at, as well as some interesting body options for the Undead. Let's start with the Undead because this should be pretty quick. You may have known about the No Bones Undead option that has been planned for this expansion, but the dev team decided to go one step further and just give you a few options for how decayed your Undead character is. They currently have 3 stages of decay: fresh, mottled, and bony. Fresh is the No Bones Undead we were promised a while back. No bones showing, no broken flesh. In fact, you look more or less entirely intact. The only part which isn't completely covered is your nails and toenails. Those are still quite a bit spiky. And then obviously you can play around with your jaw and face as per usual to make yourself more mangled. But for the most part, the fresh decay stage is pretty much what you would expect. Quite fresh. The mottled decay stage gives you some patches of not so great flesh, particularly around the areas which will end up bony later. So the knees, the elbows, around the shoulders, and a bit on the ribs and the spine. This would be an in-between stage, I guess, not quite fresh, but bones aren't poking out absolutely everywhere. And then the last stage of decay, bony, is pretty much what Undead have always been, so nothing too new here. Having these options is a pretty big deal for Undead players. I know one of the main reasons I stopped making Undead characters was the annoying bones breaking up your cool armor sets. It used to bug the bejesus out of me, but with that gone, maybe I'll go back and make 1 or 2 Undead characters. Another cool change for Undead characters that you might not have seen yet is the eye colors. I think the Undead Eye Colors are some of the coolest because there isn't really anything holding them back with this race. They have glowy eyes, so let's just give them a bunch of different colours. We ended up with yellow glowing eyes, red glowing eyes, which look incredibly cool and will fit all of you raged up warriors or angry warlocks, purple glowing eyes, because why not? Green glowing eyes for anyone wanting to walk the path of the fell again, blue glowing eyes, which will match mages perfectly, especially if they stick to frost, white glowing eyes, which make me wish undead paladins were a thing, but at least the priests can get some good use out of this option, blinded eyes for that true deadpan stare. You don't get an option for just one blind eye at this point, but this last one might be enough to make you forget about that. Sockets. Just empty sockets. This is probably the only race they could have gotten away with this, and to great effect. That is creepy as hell. So you can pick from a wide variety of colours or just rip your eyes out. Whatever takes your fancy. I guess you could go to the barber to pop some purple eyes back in and then have them rip them out again next week. That poor barber. He signed up to be a hairdresser and we have him doing all this extra weird stuff. Blood Elves are also getting a lot of new customization in this update. We have hairstyles, facial hair, eye colours, necklaces, and believe it or not, ear sizes. That's right, Blood Elf ear sizes. They're not available in-game just yet. In fact, Blood Elves have actually been entirely removed from the character creation screen for now while they get their big updates, but we do have some pictures thanks to Wowhead's data mining. Both male and females have the option of 3 different ear sizes right now, and it seems like the typical long ears are the longest they will get. The 2 new options are for shorter elf ears, and then what could only be described as half-elf ears. Half-elves aren't unheard of in World of Warcraft lore, so this would be a great option for any role players out there who like to craft stories for their own characters. If you decided long ago that you were in fact a half-elf, now you can have the ears to match. Ear size or length might seem a little silly to some players, but I think almost any extra customization options that you get to play around with is a huge step forward for World of Warcraft. The character creation has been so stale for so long at this point, I'm really happy to see they're giving it the attention it deserves in Shadowlands. We're getting so many new options with almost every single alpha build, and these are just some of the latest little surprises to pop up in the game files. Who knows what we'll get next, and for what race? I do wonder how character creation will evolve in the future though, and whether we'll ever see a truly revamped system to allow us to create characters like a lot of other MMOs can. Maybe in a few expansions time, but for now, let's see what else lies in store, like the new hairstyles. The new female Blood Elf hairstyles are fantastic in my opinion. We have a short option to start with, and I think this may end up being the shortest Blood Elf hair option we have, if I'm not mistaken. There are a few medium length bobs and 1 or 2 shorter options, but nothing quite like this. If there was a race that fit something like a pixie cut, it would have to be the Blood Elves, or maybe the humans. The second new hairstyle we have will more or less turn your Blood Elf into a Disney princess. You have the loops through to the bun at the back, just a little hanging down by the sides, and a tiara to top everything off. I can see plenty of priests, mages, or just casters in general really picking this one up and matching it with their favourite robe. And the last one we have for right now is a true hightail. It looks almost exactly like Lorthramar's hair. If you ever wanted to rock that awesome long hightail, Shadowlands has you covered. The guys get some new hairstyles as well. This first one includes a circlet, not quite a tiara or a crown, but if you wanted some bling bling on your forehead, here's another option for you. The long hair in front and back is cool, but there isn't a great deal of pizzazz with this one. The next hairstyle is a short one, spiked at the back and swept to the side in the front. A very popular hairstyle right now for the guys who want something a bit longer, but don't want to go too crazy with it. It's always nice getting some shorter hair options that still look good though. And the last one we have is an interesting one, medium length hair with a centre part in the front, spiked up at the back with 2 little braids. Apparently this is maybe a reference to a Final Fantasy Cloud hairstyle, and I wouldn't be too surprised looking at those spikes. We also get some new facial hair to work with that doesn't look plastered on or completely fake. Of course the Blood Elves have to get a decent goatee, it's almost a requirement at this point. It's long enough to tie into a little tail too, but the quality is much better than some of the older facial hair, which is fantastic to see. Then we have a similar style but with the mustache and without the tied length at the bottom. It looks really good. I usually avoid facial hair in WoW because most of it doesn't look too good, but I might have to make a few more male Blood Elves in the future. And the last one we have to look at right now is almost a chin strap. It doesn't follow up the sideburns, but it does look good without it. If you were hoping for some actual beard options for your Blood Elf male, hope no more. All that's left to do is wait for Shadowlands. Now, the females don't get any beards, sadly, but to even the playing field they do get some necklace options. We've seen necklaces a few times now. The Kulturans had some options, the Zandalari Trolls had some as well, and they were recently added in for human females. I guess Blood Elf females join the list with these very cool 3 necklaces. A huge gold phoenix, because what else would you want to wear as a proud Sindorai? A smaller gold piece with a set emerald, gold and green, perfect Blood Elf colours, and there's also a silver and green option just in case gold isn't your thing. I love that they're giving us more options, but I wonder if we would see actual necklace models from in-game gear sometime down the line. That could add another layer onto the Transmog system, and I'm sure players would love to match necklaces to their favourite gear sets. And that's all the customization we have to look at in this video. What do you think of the new Undead Decay status? What about those wonderful Blood Elf beards and necklaces? Leave all your thoughts in the comment section below. If you want to explore the alpha, or tinker about with the character customization live, you can find us over at twitch.tv/KalaniTV. We stream every Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday and Saturday at 12 PM PST. Watching the stream and coming to say hi is one of the best ways you can support the channel right now, and if you ever wanted to be included in the list of names at the end of every video, a subscription on Twitch is by far the easiest way to make that happen. You get a free sub to any Twitch channel if you have an Amazon Prime too, so be sure to take advantage of that. A big thank you to everyone who has subscribed on Twitch already, and to our supporters over on Patreon. You can see their names floating by on screen. If you want to join these lovely guys and gals, well, now you know how. Remember to leave a like just below the video before you leave. If you want to see more, make sure to subscribe. But apart from that, thanks for watching folks, good luck and have fun, and as always I will see you next time.